So look, every state, every government has its own laws and its own ways that it imposes upon its citizens and requires of them. And some governments are more totalitarian than others. But you may not have the opportunity to move to what we might classify as the more tolerant. And therefore you're confronted with the government that you have. And the Pauline teaching is quite simply succumb to it. Obey the law. Accept that in some sense God has put these people in charge over you. And whether you like it or not, is to be experienced. So you do what's required of you. You keep the law. It's not something you are responsible for. You're not condemned for doing what is imposed on you. You're only condemned with using what is your own and you are free to use unwisely, and even then you're not condemned because it's understood you're a child, for goodness sake. Children don't make the mature, civilized responses that adults make. Still loved. Doesn't stop God loving you for one moment. It's your dad. Dads are there to love. To be loving. To their children. That's what a good dad is. And your dad is a very, very good dad. That's why you worship him. That's what you've chosen to believe and trust. That God is your Heavenly Father and loves you. Good. So he does not require desperately difficult things of you. On the contrary, does require you to not play cricket in front of the window and risk breaking it. That's very important because windows cost money, you see. It's not going to condemn you for doing it though. And if you forget or think perhaps it's not too important, well, grace is extended towards you. But he might tell you again not to do it in the future. And if some force imposes on you something, well, avoid it if you can. But if you can't, please don't be martyred. I do not bring children into the world to be martyred in my cause. It is not my way. It is not what I see as loving and caring for you. I am come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Things are imposed on you that you might think are right, wrong, or indifferent, but that they're imposed is important. Do it. Now that might be very hard at times. Well, you may have an inner hatred of such. That may prepare you very well for the kingdom of heaven. That you can't bear such things to happen in heaven. And you'll guard heaven against it at all costs. You're going to be a hero, but a hero in heaven. If you try to be a hero at school, well, you'll find that you're, as often as not, what seems to be a bit of a dismal failure. But no one's a failure in my eyes. They're simply my children. And I will have their perfection and completeness. It is my will and I am able to bring it about. You are not, and you are not charged with that responsibility. All I ask of you is that you remember I'm your dad, and I love you, and you're my child. Always. 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 Thank you, Heavenly Father.
Could I just add as a note that it's not just that a good dad is there to love. For his sake, you know, he's there to be loved too. Try and do that with all your heart. For your own sake, try and do that with all your heart, soul, mind and strength, but especially do it for his sake too, because you love him. We love because we value. And dads need to be told they're valued. He needs you to let him know you value him. He's a person. He longs to be valued and appreciated. If you do, as a mum or a dad, love appreciation from your kids, how much more our Heavenly Father, who is a person just like you, except he's a person of persons of persons. So, remind yourself often to appreciate him, to love him and value him, not just for your own sake, but for his sake too, because you love him. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.